Greeting, good folks of the internet. It is July 24th, 2017. It's a Monday, and it's time for your weekly video. So I'm sort of like working through a headache right now, so apologize if I'm kind of going off on tangents or whatever. But I didn't do any record shopping this weekend. Probably this upcoming weekend I will have some stuff for next Monday's video. So I wanted to take the time to show some stuff that I've had for, most of it is within the last 2 years, I'd say, but definitely some recommendations for things to go out and seek out and pick up. I hope everybody's having a great week. It is just Monday, so it's going to be a short week for me. But yeah, how you doing? How's everybody doing? I love some of the dialogue that we have going on recently. Other videos and things like that. I've sort of tried to make it a point to go visit other folks, their channels and things like that, and spread the love, as they say. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about, there's a few bands that most of these I've seen live recently, and I've picked up their stuff, and it's just, incredible. I think one important thing about seeing music is seeing music in small venues. I think that it's something to say when you kind of see a show where there's an artist who maybe, they're playing to about 100 people or so. There's a venue that's in Pittsburgh that I've had the pleasure of seeing a lot of great bands, and it's maybe like 150 kind of standing room kind of thing, and that's it. So I'll show a few from the shows that I saw, some of the artists, I guess, that I've seen there. We'll kind of do it in that order, I guess, have some sort of semblance of what I'm going to show here. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Ryley Walker, Primrose Green. That was great. It's kind of his, he had an EP that came out before this, but this was sort of his, I guess you could say, sort of major release, first major release. It's on Dead Oceans. Came out in 2015. But he sort of has this sort of, jazz styling, alternative tunings. People kind of compare him to Nick Drake, and it's not quite there. Nick Drake or Burt Jansch. He has his own, his own sound, but it's really cool. But I saw him. This was, I've had this for a while, but this was his most recent release. Golden Sings That Have Been Sung. This, of course, is also on the Dead Oceans label. Sort of signed it for me. We kind of talked about the Grateful Dead. He's from Chicago, and gives it fairly well. I didn't see him there, but he played a couple of things. So this show was about a year ago, the Club Cafe. This is a great venue in Pittsburgh. And you can see the price was $6 to see his show. So great. This is a double album. There's pretty much one side of it's sort of just songs, and then the others, there's sort of this like long extended jam, which he just is really awesome at, his acoustic guitar playing, things like that. So these are both from Riding Easy Records. If you haven't had a chance to check out their label, they have some really good stuff. They're sort of a lot of the, the California stoner rock vibe, I guess you could say. They're sort of spearheading that with their Brown Acid compilations, which are sort of releases of songs from the 70s and, bands that were trying to emulate Black Sabbath, but really didn't go anywhere. This is from one of the bands that's on that label, Slow Season. This is Mountains. Really sounds like, it sounds like Led Zeppelin. It's a little bit, it's kind of almost, I don't want to use the word cheesy, but they owe a lot to the Led Zeppelin sound. So, but it's an excellent album. Probably one of my favorite albums from the last couple of years. I think they have a new one coming out. I'm not too sure. So there's that one. And then also at the same show, I saw Mondo Drag, which I've been a big fan of them for a long time. And they really haven't been putting anything out. I don't know if I have it over there. I think there's another album too that they did that just came out. But they were on like the Alive Natural Sounds label, like Bomp's kind of imprint. And this is definitely a little more on the progressive proggy side, but it's still extremely good. So I think that's just called Mondo Drag. Yeah, that's just Mondo Drag. So they sort of like disappeared for a while, and then I'll grab that other album here. Just listening to that. Sorry, guitar. New Rituals. This came out, I think, like in 2010. This is just a fantastic album, though. It was definitely ahead of its time, and it still is a little bit. So very cool. And then a couple others that I've picked up recently. I know a lot of people have showed this album, but Uncle Acid, The Night Creeper, it's just a fantastic album. I really love like sort of the stoner rock stuff. There's some just great bands out there that are, they just sound like kind of like Black Sabbath, but they're, all the pedals and everything are just like perfect for this type of music now. So that's another really cool one. Slight change of pace. I saw this one. I saw the Sufjan Stevens. I don't know if I have the. There's the download card that I never used. Why do you need a download card when you're listening to it on vinyl? Am I right? Throw that in there. So this is Carrie and Lull, which he has a new album out. It's kind of like about the planets. I forget what it's called. Planetarium, I want to say. This is a cool album. I saw this, played this live. This came out in 2015, so it's already about 2 years old. But really fantastic album. And then these just both came out in 2016, so last year, probably around April or so. This is the Dandy Warhols with Distortland. This is the bootleg. They had two different albums. One was like the bootleg, which it's the same album, it's just the artwork is a little bit different. I think the other one's like a gatefold cover and things like that. But you could only get the bootleg one from their tour. So that was really cool to see them. And the band that opened for them, who I just still blown away by this band. They're on Fat Possum. But the Seratones, this is the Seratones Get Gone. They're an amazing band. I believe they're from New Orleans, I want to say. I'm not sure offhand. For some reason, I think I remember that. But at the time, they only had like their 7-inch out, but this has since come out. So if you ever have a chance to, sometimes Fat Possum has their sale going on, definitely pick this up. But produced by Jimbo Mathis, which I know that he's done other stuff. Pretty critically acclaimed producer. So, but there you go. So just a couple of records, some newer stuff. If you have a chance, if you see that stuff out there, definitely pick it up. It's great. So that's it for me. We'll see you next week, and see you on Down the Trail.